Thank you so much for joining us for this particular session. And I hope that you will all be joining us each month. We're going to have a variety of different sessions, as we talked about, that's really sort of aimed to help us as case managers or those who work with youth kind of navigate this education in the age of COVID and beyond, you know, as we prepare to open the schools back up and we prepare honestly to deal with the after effects of COVID. So I am Angela Parker. I am going to be sort of the facilitator of the different meetings to kind of keep us on time. And before we get started though, I thought since we have such a small group, if everyone could kind of introduce themselves and just out of curiosity, because I love a good icebreaker. When you introduce yourself, if you can tell us your name, your organization, and if you prefer to work from home or if you like working remotely. So, and I can't see everyone, so because I'm not the host, so if we could just kind of popcorn it and go, and I can't see Miss Williams, however, so I'm going to start with you.
Good afternoon, all. My name is Sharon Williams. I'm an equity coordinator with LA Unified, and I actually like working in the office rather than working at home. There are benefits to working at home in the COVID, but I prefer to work in the office.
All right, who's next? Who's next? Come on.
My name is Christine Valentine. I'm with the BBCDC. Happy to be here today, and I love working from home. It cuts down on the traveling. Normally, I would be in an hour and a half traffic going and coming back.
Ooh, that's like going to San Diego.
Well, yeah, and that's only going from Altadena to BBC is located on Martin Luther King. Policy around there. It's so much traffic. It's unbelievable. So I love it working from home.
Great. All right, who's next? You know what? Can we do a popcorn? So Christine, you nominate someone, and then the person you nominate somebody else, and we'll do it that way.
Danger Man, you up?
Okay. Hi, my name is Roger Tinsley, and I am the CEO of Danger Man Education Foundation, and which is the home of Danger Man, the urban Black superhero. Okay, the real life superhero. And we promote literacy, safety, and good health for children in urban communities across America and Haiti, empowering children to live their best life through education and by living a lifestyle. Okay.
Sounds great. And do you prefer working from home or you like to be out and about in the community?
I do both of them. So, yeah, I love to be out because that's where our world is. Okay. But yeah, that's where I really like to be, because we go to school, boys and girls clubs and other community events. So yeah.
That's great. Okay, so I need you to nominate somebody to introduce themselves.
How about Alberta? Alberta?
Yes.
What about you, Alberta? Go ahead.
Sure. I'm Alberta Brinson Moore. I'm the parent of a 10th grade boy at Dorsey High School. I'm also a community and educational advocate. I enjoy working both. I love not having to deal with traffic, but I'm a very social person, so I really miss the in-person interaction. And my next person is Vera. Did we do Vera? Yeah.
Oh, hi, you caught me, Alberta. Hi, I'm Vera Orloff. Can you see me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. You caught me because I was just listening in, hoping to be like a fly on the wall. I am the CEO of a small company called One World Collaborative, and I usually work on projects overseas. Right now I'm working on one in Bangladesh, which is working for community resilience and resilience building in youth. And so I wanted to learn from you all and bring that to my work overseas. And I enjoy working from home. I do that, and then I travel a lot overseas. So unfortunately, recently I haven't been able to travel. So I've been having to do most of my work over Zoom and from home. And let's see, who has not introduced themselves? How about Kimberly?
Hi, everyone. My name is Kimberly Bordenave. I'm a Systems of Support Advisor with LA Unified School District, serving the local district south. Sorry, I have my own little kid I have to work with. So I came in a little bit late because of that, but that's who I am.
Great.
I'll go next. Hi, my name is Naomi, Executive Director at the Al Wooten Jr. Youth Center. We're at 91st and Western. I'm also a co-chair of the CRSSLA Education Committee with Andrew Henderson. And because I like the center with the kids, but stuff like proposals, I like to be at home because it's pretty noisy. So I guess my answer is both. I like them both.
Right.
And I will choose, let's see, did Gabriella go?
Well, I put in the chat, but I prefer right now to work from home because I'm an educator. So, I do miss, even though I'm an introvert, I do miss the interaction with humans.
Yeah.
So I do. So I hope that, you know, I have to be patient, but I hope that when it's safe, we're able to go back to schools. Thank you.
All right, that sounds great. Who else? I would love, I know I hear some people coming in, so can you please introduce yourself?
I will go next. Hello, everybody. My name is Nina Womack. I run an alternative wellness organization here in South LA called Let's Be Whole. Let's Be Whole, mind, body, and soul. And so basically since 2015, myself, along with the holistic health practitioners that I work with, go out into the community to teach the underserved about natural health and wellness. We teach them about yoga, sound healing, healing through the arts, herbs, herbal healing. And also since 2018, my organization launched a healthy food pantry weekly. So every week I recover food from Whole Foods, Trader Joe's, and different organic farm organizations and give it out to the community weekly in Lamert Park. Also with work with the Department of Public Health and take it to the Martin Luther King Healing Center. And I also am working with the YWCA in San Pedro and bringing the food to that community on Friday.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Food deserts are real, and what you're doing is really, really, really life-saving, I feel. So thank you for that. Okay, we're gonna do one more person because we have to get to our presentation, but everyone, if we don't get to you, please put your information in the chat because part of this is networking, but who would like to wrap up our introductions?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Ana Perez, and I am a case manager for Bellflower Unified School District, and I am at Mayfair High School. And I work mostly from the office, but I'm trying to do a couple of days at home, but mostly from the office.
Fantastic. And do you prefer working at the office or working at home?
I like at the office better because I have my computer, my books, all my resources, everything here. So I prefer from the office, and it gets me to get out of the house. And so, yes.
That's great. Okay, thank you. So thank you all those who were able to introduce yourselves. If you were not, again, able to introduce yourselves, please put your information in the chat. And so without further ado, I would like to introduce our speaker, Ms. Vivian DeLaRosa. She is the Wellness Programs Coordinator for LAUSD, and she's going to share with us what the district is doing as far in supporting people with along the lines of mental health. So of course, we know this is very important, particularly with all the studies and all the I think they just actually had a article, the LA Times, I think did it, about the stress of COVID on moms. And so, you know, it's really, really, really been hard the last year. It's been mentally taxing. And so we're really excited to hear what the LAUSD is doing around this. So thank you so much, Vivian, and we look forward to your presentation.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here. So what I'm going to do is wellness programs is actually part of Student Health and Human Services within LA Unified. So I'm going to explain what we're doing as a department, as a division, and then what my program is doing for parents, community members, students, and not just for mental health, but in all the different areas that we have. I know it's too small in the right corner, but we also are in charge of the wellness policy that our district has, and there's 8 components. And so we're tasked with coming up with different ways to assist families, schools, parents in guiding through those 8 different components. So I'm going to go ahead and start and just let you know that with the Division of Student Health and Human Services, there are several different departments that we have. So we have district nursing, human relations and diversity and equity, pupil service and attendance, positive behavior interventions and supports that includes restorative justice. We have a school mental health unit, which is quite large. We employ probably over 300 psychiatric social workers in that unit. We have student medical services, which right now are overseeing or helping to oversee our wellness centers, the COVID testing sites. We have student support programs, and then we have wellness programs, which is where I'm from. So for wellness programs, our mission is to reduce barriers in student academic achievement and provide support to the instructional program by facilitating partnerships with community-based service providers. So it really fits well that I'm here to talk about partnerships because you all have so much to offer. But I don't think everyone has an MOU with the district, a memorandum of understanding. So we'll explain a little bit more about that. We have people in our unit. We have 9 people who are called Wellness Programs Organization Facilitators. And what they do is they serve as a liaison between Student Health and Human Services, partners and schools. They are the ones that actually create the memorandums of understandings, operation agreements, service delivery applications. So those are the different kinds of contracts that we have with different partners in the communities. I help to oversee the OFs, but in addition, I am actually the one who does the district-wide no-cost memorandums of understanding. So I did one with some housing agencies, like 4 different ones. I've done with the USTA Tiger Wood Foundation. So I'm involved in a lot of different contracts that we do with the district. The organization facilitators also support the implementation of the Blueprint for Wellness policy, and they facilitate coordination of services. I don't know if any of you are familiar with our Healthy Start staff. They're in, I have probably about 67 staff, and we're in about 100 schools. Healthy Start is designed to serve children, youth, and their families, and the community by leveraging partnerships to increase program resources. The program provides comprehensive school integrated services and activities to meet the desired results identified in approximately 100 schools. So part of what they do is they're sort of the liaison between the school and the agency, and they try to link families to services doing, we actually do case management, they do, in academics, youth development, family support, basic needs, physical and mental health needs. So they would be the ones that the school may refer a child to and say, this family really needs this. And then they look at the resources and they help to create a plan for the family. We're also unique in that we have a CHAMP team, and it's Children's Health Access and Medi-Cal programs. So we have certified enrollment counselors. We have 6 of them that work in the CHAMP unit, but all our Healthy Start people are also certified enrollment counselors. So they help with having families to apply for Covered California, Medi-Cal. They do health insurance presentations to schools, and they also troubleshoot for community members. So if someone calls our hotline and says, you know, they've tried to do the application, they can't move forward, they don't understand it, our staff will actually help anyone who calls the hotline. And I'll talk about the hotline later. Health-focused referrals to other LAUSD programs and appropriate community agencies such as WIC, CalFresh, CHDP, MyHealthLA. So one thing that you can do when you have time, you can look on the LA Unified website, which is www.lausd.net. If you do a search for wellness programs, you will see in the wellness programs that we have something called a Student and Family Resource Dashboard. So I just did a screenshot. So say, for example, you're looking for mental health for a person. I click mental health. You can also type in the zip code, and then it'll pop up several different mental health agencies. So these are agencies that we've collected since March of last year, where we've entered them into a spreadsheet. And just actually last week, I had my staff call to agencies to make sure that they're still good agencies, that they're still open. Of course, because of the pandemic, a lot of them are not answering and they haven't returned calls. But anyone can access this. So if you're in need of looking for resources, you can actually go on our website and access this dashboard. It's, you know, anyone, the community can actually access it. It's in English and in Spanish. Another thing that we do, which you actually can access as well, you do not have to be an LA Unified staff employee. We have a health and wellness fitness channel. So we have a 10 series yoga for the mind and body, which you can also access. We have a lot of schools that access that as an icebreaker for their staff meetings or whatever other professional developments they're doing. We have someone on our staff who is she's a certified trainer and certified yoga instructor. And so she is the one that is on these recordings. In addition to this, every Wednesday at 5 o'clock on the channel 52, I think it is, KLCS. It's a PBS channel, but we have at 5 o'clock, 15 minutes where they go over healthy eating or a short little recipe. And then at 5:15, my staff person is actually doing fitness for 15 minutes. And so if you are a program that has students, you know, once you're back open, you actually would be able to do this with them. Just turn it on a TV, you know, or put it on a screen, and they could do that whole half hour with you at your site. And again, anyone can access this. This is free to the community. As part of our staff wellness, we also secured a memorandum of understanding, a contract with Headspace. And so everyone that works for the district can get Headspace for free. So we have many educators, a lot of our staff that do Headspace every day or whenever they can. But we also have that for staff. For parent engagement, to work with our parents, our Healthy Start staff has been trained in something called Walk to Wellness, which really is the Arthritis Foundation, Walk with Ease. And so what they have done is they've done walking groups at the schools. During the pandemic, we actually have a few people who are doing this virtually. They're doing exercises, they're doing the mindfulness channel, and then they're doing the walking in place, you know, a little bit of stretching, and they're doing that with families. They've also been trained in something called Healthy Habits. So Healthy Habits is about healthy eating and healthy cooking. The majority of our staff that is doing it are bilingual, and so they do it in Spanish and English. And we actually will provide, when we do it in person, we will provide parents with the ingredients that they need to do this, but we do a demo and they're taught how to eat different things. Like, for example, a lot of our families don't eat kale salad, but they're taught how to use kale and actually taste it. And surprisingly, they like it. And so they learn these new recipes that are healthy that they're not exposed to usually. A lot of our staff is also trained in Abriendo Puertas, which in English it's called Opening Doors, and they also do it in Spanish and English. And it's a parent education program for young children, but they can modify it so that some of the concepts can be used for, you know, some of the older children. The other thing that we have is we have wellness centers and school-based clinics. If you go on our website, you can actually search for wellness centers or school-based clinics, and they're actually open right now. The majority of them, I think 13 out of the 15 are open. This is just one page of it. There's 2 more on another page that I didn't include on here, But you would have to go ahead and go, to check their times that they're open, because it can vary, the dates can vary. But just know that we do have clinics open during this time of the pandemic. This is a big one. Our grab and go centers, we have at 63 school sites. And I believe that a lot of the community members don't know that it is actually open to community members. So you do not have to be an LA Unified student or have a child that is an LA Unified student to access food. These are open to everyone. I live in Gardena, and I went to the one at Perry Middle School, and I saw several elderly people going with their carts and getting food. And so it was great to see that a lot of people are taking advantage of it, but I know a lot of people also just don't know. So this is something that you can pass on to your families. Also, you can find the different school sites on our website. They also have LA Regional Food Bank that drops off, does a drop shipment once a month. They rotate so that everyone gets it once a month, all the different centers. And they give things like milk, eggs, pasta, beans, other things that we don't normally do in our grab and goes. The other thing that our grab and goes do is during the holidays, they are usually open. During winter break, we were open, and I'm sure during spring break, we will be open. I believe that before the last holiday that our hotline was closed, they actually doubled up on the food on the Friday before the holiday for Monday. So it's a good resource for you to share with your families, just in case they don't know. And it is free, and there's no questions asked. When I went, they just said, how many do you want? And I was actually picking up for 2 families, and so I said just 2. So they gave me 2. But there's other people who go and say they have 5 kids, or whatever it is, because you can pick up kids or adults. It doesn't have to be just for students, and they will give you the food and the milk, no questions asked. They just ask you how many. And so that's a really good resource that we have for the district and for the community. Now, I know we talked a little bit about mental health, and for the district, what we're doing is we have a hotline that is open from 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. Anyone can call it, even community members. And we have different options. There's 5 different options, which I'll show you on another slide. And mental health is one of them. So if someone calls and they need assistance with mental health, they would press option 2, and they would be transferred to one of our psychiatric social workers. We also have a crisis counseling unit, and we also have mental health consultants who are currently outreaching to schools, doing professional development and assisting schools and professionals and educators on how to recognize signs and symptoms of a student in mental health crisis. So that is something else that we're doing. There is another program called the TREE program, which is for early ed centers, and they're doing consultation and some counseling for our small kids, our younger kids. Again, it's option 2. Our organization Facilitators, which we talked about previously, have secured memorandums of understandings with 57 mental health agencies. And so those 57 mental health agencies are providing counseling to several students in several schools, totaling 589 schools in the district. The other thing that we're doing with mental health is, since right now it's difficult to get written consent from parents to share their information with mental health agencies, we've actually developed a way that they can actually get services by us doing a warm handoff or a 3-way call with a mental health agency, and then dropping off the call, and then the mental health agency can get consent whichever way they want. We also, for all our other schools that do not have a mental health provider on campus or virtually, we created a flyer where we looked at where the school is located, and on this referral flyer, we listed them as a possible, whatever mental health agency is closest to them as a possible referral, as well as school mental health and Department of Mental Health. So we did that for the whole district, hundreds and hundreds of schools, which was a heavy lift, but all principals were sent that information so that they have access to know which mental health agency is near them and where they can refer their students to. This is our hotline. So our hotline is open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, and the different options are option number 1 is for basic needs, and I oversee that portion of the hotline. Option 2 is for mental health. Option 3 is for school attendance and enrollment. Then we have option 4 for nursing. And then we have option 5 for special populations. So students who are experiencing homelessness or, are in the camps or are in group homes, our foster youth, all of them, if they wanted to call or their parents wanted to call for assistance, they would press option 5. Now, in looking back at the hotline, I know you probably are interested to see what kind of calls we get. So what I did is we had a report run from when the school year started till this weekend, and there have been 12,909 calls that we received on the hotline since the beginning of the school year. Again, I oversee the basic needs portion of the hotline, and that is the busiest portion, which is 34% of the callers have called in for basic needs. So that's about 4,400 calls that we've gotten out of the 12,000. Usually our calls that we get on our portion are for shelter, housing, food insecurity. Those are the main ones. 12% of the calls have been due to mental health concerns or mental health needs. So it's not as large as probably we would imagine it would be. I think the reason is that a lot of the schools that have students that they're concerned about will reach out to their psychiatric social worker if they have one on site, or they will directly reach out to school mental health and not use the hotline. The hotline is usually parents who've heard the hotline number advertised on TV stations, on our website, in the newspaper. And so they're calling on their own to try to find help for their children. 13% of the calls have been for nursing services. So these have been in relation to possibly COVID, vaccines that their children may need, when enrolling their children, what vaccines they need. And so that was for nursing. So I don't know if this is a surprise to anyone, but I really expected the mental health calls to be a little bit higher. I knew that we were the busiest just because we get reports every week. So I know that my staff takes the majority of the calls, but I was a little surprised that mental health actually was less than even nursing. And that was basically the information I had. I don't know if anyone has any questions for me or if you would want me to elaborate on anything that I've talked about. Should we look at the chat, or is that Naomi or someone?
Yes, we can do that.
I have a question.
Yeah, I
Sure.
do too. You go first.
What is your the website for the wellness? You said we can look into.
So if you go to the LA Unified, LAUSD.net, then in the little magnifying glass, type in wellness programs, and then you'll be able to access all of our stuff. The dashboard is on there. If you look at the little top part, it also talks about like staff wellness, the health channel, health and fitness channel, and that's where you'll find the videos. The videos are usually anywhere from around 5 minutes. So they're not long videos, but you're more than welcome to use them to start off a meeting, to stretch, or for yourself. So they're all there ready for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vivian, hi, this is Nina Womack. I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
The first one is, how could I get you information about our weekly food pantry throughout Los Angeles County? Because we have some great food, and I know the parents and families would benefit from it.
So I'm putting my email address on there because I am the one who has those resources uploaded into our website.
Okay, great. And then my second question is, as far as referrals or how outside organizations could best support the students, I'm involved with some out of school programs, and we have moved virtually. So, and now we're having a meeting this week to talk about creating learning pods. How do you feel about those? And is there an opportunity to work with LAUSD in that capacity?
Yeah, so what we do is usually when there's someone who wants to be one of the agencies that we refer to, we actually look at your website, we look at what the services are, we have to make sure that it's at no cost to students, because that's all that we put
I'm not
on.
on camera.
That's all that we put on our website. But if you had like a particular school you wanted to work with, or a group of schools, then we could talk about doing a memorandum of understanding, and then help you to partner with the school so that they could use your services. So there's a couple of ways to do that. But if you wanted to actually be listed like as a resource, the other thing I do is whenever I get flyers or a resource that I think is a good resource, I email it to all our 67 Healthy Start staff, our organization facilitators, and anyone that works on the hotline. And so then that way they have it on their desktop or in their resource folder, so that when someone calls in for a particular resource that maybe you have sent to me, then they would be able to go in there and then tell them about your organization.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Vivian. I'll be in.
You're welcome. Yeah, so you can feel free to email me or reach out to me, and I can, go ahead and help you connect with LA Unified.
Okay, great.
I saw a question in the chat. I'm not sure if you answered it. Is the Headspace for LAUSD staff only?
Yes, so it is in terms of, no, anyone can do Headspace, but there's a charge. It's free for LA Unified staff. But I know that there's other places out there. For example, my sister-in-law is a vet, and her animal hospital is offering it free to all their staff. So I think that certain companies are actually looking into Headspace and trying to provide that for free for people. But the one that's free that I showed you is LA Unified only. And it was an MOU that I actually did with Headspace and with our superintendent.
There's also the Calm app. And if you are a Kaiser member, you get it for free for a year.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. And I think a lot of the medical insurance companies, if you look at their websites, they have a lot of stuff on wellness for staff. Even like I know Weight Watchers, they waive the sign-in fee, or they give you a certain number of months free if you have, healthcare partners or Anthem Blue Cross or whatever. So look at your medical insurance as well. They might have something to offer for you.
I was also wondering, you've mentioned MOUs quite a bit, and we actually have had sessions on how to get an MOU with the LAUSD, but I was wondering if you had any advice for anyone who may be
So yeah, so if you want to enter into a partnership with LA Unified, you have to have an MOU. And the person that will help to do that with you is an organization facilitator. Every local district has a designated person that will help you do that. But the things that we ask for is an ORI number. If you have heard of that, that's something you get from the Department of Justice. It's an origination, it's like a fingerprinting number, because we require FBI and DOJ fingerprinting, but you have to have that number to be able to get to that level to work in a school. So that's the first thing. If you don't have that, then you would need to apply with the Department of Justice to get that. The second thing is, like I mentioned, it has to be no cost. We only enter into memorandums of understandings at no cost unless you are a vendor with LA Unified and schools are willing to purchase your program, then that goes through procurement. But in terms of an MOU, it must be no cost. Right now in the virtual world, we're also requiring cyber insurance. And so there's a limit on how much you have to have for that. And on your certificate of insurance, LA Unified has to be listed as a co-insured. But a lot of it is once you connect with the organization facilitator, there's a lot of back and forths that go on with your organization, with the OF, in terms of like your duties and responsibilities, LA Unified duties and responsibilities. Now, if you're not a mental health provider, then the other thing that we are requiring right now during the virtual world is that someone from the staff of that school site needs to be sitting in on your Zoom. And so whether it's mentoring or tutoring or whatever program you have, someone from that school must be in on your Zoom. So that's another thing that's written into the MOU.
All right, that's great. And then for those of you in the chat, again, we have had MOU sessions before. So, but if you missed it, there's the link to it, and you can learn more information about that as well. And thank you for sharing that, because it's fantastic. It is complex.
It is.
And so I know Yeah, I like to talk about it as much as possible, just so everybody can kind of just get in the headspace of kind of what it
Yeah,
is and what
and
they
so the
need.
process is once you meet with the OF and you kind of negotiate what's going to be in there or not, then we actually run it through our attorneys. And then the attorney will say, okay, we'll take this out, or no, you can't do that. They can't do this. And there's back and forth with the attorney. And then your organization probably sends it to your attorney, who then says, well, why do we have to do this? I don't like this. And so at that point, if we can't resolve it on our own with, just back and forth like this, then the attorneys meet and then they come to terms with what will work and what doesn't work. But we have standard language on the whole MOU, except for the first 3 pages, which is very specific to your agency and to us in terms of roles and responsibilities. The rest is all standard language we use on every contract.
All right, that sounds great. Okay, any more questions?
Yeah, I had a question.
Sure.
Okay, so let me get this straight. So MOU is required when you do anything with LAUSD?
So if you're doing anything at the school site, so say you want to do an after-school program, you need an MOU. If you want to do something during the day, you need an MOU. If it's just a one-time thing that you're going to do, like one special event, there's a separate form for that, which is called a facilities use form. And you still have to show insurance for that. And the principal would sign off on that. So that's not quite a contract. So say you're going to do one day where you're going to do like a football clinic for one day, and you're going to invite some football players. So that would not be an MOU unless you're going to do it at several schools or you're going to do it several times. If it's a one-time event, then it's a different form. But whenever you want to work with students during school or after school, then that requires an MOU.
Okay, all right. Okay. What about career days when you're doing career days?
Those would be, if it's just a one-day event, then that would not require an MOU. It would just be a facilities use form that the OF, the organization facilitator, can also help guide you with. And so that's a little bit different because it's just a one-time event. It's not going to be something ongoing.
Okay. Now, how do you find out who your OS, what out of
contact?
So
so what you can do is you can, where are you located?
My office is in North Hollywood, actually, but we do a lot of South LA, we do everywhere in LA.
Okay. So we have our local district south goes from San Pedro all the way to part of South LA. And then once you get closer to SC, then that's a different OF. But right now we don't have an organization facilitator for local district south, so I'm covering. So you can email me and I'll be covering probably till the end of February.
Okay. All right.
And I think the majority of you are in South LA, correct? So it would either be South or Central, but more than likely it's local district south. And so for right now, it would be me.
Okay.
And also, Vivian, I just put the link in the chat to find your district if you're not in the South. And also, if you go to the case management website, we actually have the MOU applications there. So anybody can go to that page and download it, as well as click on the link to find who your district
So just a little bit of caution, those are not supposed to be given out publicly like that because we've changed them. And so they may not be what you have on that website, but it's not something we like to be distributed. So I'm not sure how that happened. But it's something that the organization facilitator would do with you. We've changed all the forms within the last couple of months.
So actually, so let me correct. It's okay. I just clicked on it. So it does go to the PDF. So what I need, so it was actually given to me, by LAUSD. And so I didn't have that understanding at the time, but I can take this down because I'm looking at it now. It actually does open up the fillable PDF. But is there a website that I can put on here instead so that it's always updated?
No, because we actually don't like to give that out. We don't give out our MOUs. I'm not sure who gave it to you, but it's not something we give out to organizations. And yeah, so the one that you have, let me see. This is actually only for people who already have an MOU. It's not for new agencies. So the one that you have is one for agencies that already have an MOU with us and want to do virtual services. So this wouldn't even work for any of you that do not have MOUs.
All right. So is there a contact number I could put there instead? I'll take this down.
I would just say to email me, and then I can connect them with the organization facilitator. But yeah, that's even the incorrect form. That's not even for new agencies. And that's actually is only going to be good till June, because then June, hopefully we'll be back physically, and it's not, that's specifically for virtual services.
Yeah, it's been a few months. It was probably like in the summer, so I'm guessing things. Vivian, can I put your email address in the
Sure.
chat?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I don't have a business cell phone. So really the email is the best way to get a hold of me. I check it all day long. And I usually am really fast in responding.
Well, I'm so glad that you caught that. So
yeah, you know, we were wondering because there were some agencies that actually filled out even older versions of our MOUs. And we told them, you know, this isn't the correct form, but where did you get it? Nobody will tell us where they got it. So we know that they're floating out there.
well, now I feel like I don't want to get anybody in trouble now, but just know I didn't do this myself.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that's okay. It was good for us to know because it was actually even the wrong form. So, but anyone can email me. And like I said, I will be more than happy to explain the process to you and let you know what form you need to complete. But usually it's the organization facilitator who actually completes the form, not the agency. Any other questions from anyone?
I have one more question, Vivian. This is Nina. Sure. As far as the mental health is concerned, are you guys familiar, or is there an approval on a peer-based mental health model? Because I'm a certified peer mental health advocate, and so I'm not a licensed therapist, but you know, that is a state certification to someone who has lived experience to work with the mental health of someone else.
Yeah, so our MOUs and our partnerships with agencies are really only for mastered level clinicians. And so we don't even allow interns, like MSW interns, MFT interns, we don't even allow interns to provide services to our students, especially not at this time, but it has to be a mental health professional with a master's at least.
Okay, but if I have a staff person with that license, then it's okay.
For that person only though. Yeah. Okay. And they have to be registered with the Board of Behavior Sciences because we do ask for a copy of their certificate.
Okay, great. Thank you. That helped. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, this was great. Can we please give Ms. DelaRosa a round of applause for doing such a great presentation and giving such great information? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And again, if you have any other questions after this, then feel free to email me and then I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you. Thank you. And so, yes, so I just wanted to, you know, just reiterate that the reasons why we do these type of sessions once a month is just to give out this different types of information for everyone. I was curious to see if there was a topic that maybe this presentation kind of got you all excited about that you were thinking, oh, maybe we should talk about in a future meeting.
Yeah.
I would say contracting with government agencies. So how to contract, offer your services with different, different government agencies. Like getting a DUNS number and all that.
So
that's a good one.
So quick question. So did these MOUs, is this something that recently came about, or because I know
actually we've had organization facilitators for about 20 years. So we've been doing it in 20 years. Unfortunately, there was a period of time that local district South did not have an organization facilitator. And so there was no one really there for 6 years to be able to kind of oversee that process. And then principals kind of just did their own thing sometimes, but then that's where we had to really tighten up because we get sued for everything. And so with that, now there's a local district organization facilitator in every local district. And we present to principals, assistant principals, counselors, everyone that, we tell them they have to have a memorandum of understanding. There's a lot of good programs out there that, sadly don't have the insurance requirements or the fingerprinting requirements, like some of the grid agencies that had ex-gang people providing services really would not meet the criteria for us because some of them have records, not all of them. But we do allow prevention or treatment. So even substance abuse, we're very specific on which agencies can come on and do substance abuse treatment. It has to be a licensed clinician or someone with at least a master level. Even with our prevention, it has to be vetted through our health curriculum person. And so, we've tightened up just because we've been sued so much too. So, but it has been for 20 years, it's been a part of what should have happened. But I think just a lot of people get in because principals, they want the services because a lot of them aren't free and they're, it's something they need. And so they weren't really following protocol, but we're getting really tight on that.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because like 20 years.
Yeah.
We were going to schools and sometimes the principal would pay us out of their money, or sometimes we just don't get paid. We just do it. Okay. And we would donate books and do, because we do tours. We have a tour we call Danger Man's Books, Not Books. Okay. And we would tour around and do that. Nobody, we just tell them we were coming and say, oh, okay, come on. Okay.
Yeah. And, I was originally, when I got hired with the district, I was a psychiatric social worker and I did the mental health counseling at the 97th Street Clinic on 97th and Figueroa. So I did that for 2 years. And then I was a school-based psychiatric social worker for 14 years. And then I was an organization facilitator for the next 4 or 5 years. And then I became an administrator. So I really done all parts of that. So even when I was a school-based psychiatric social worker, I didn't know about MOUs. And so, we had someone who wanted to come and do something on our campus. It was sure, it's free, come on out. Now I, thank God nothing happened, but, I didn't know the process either back then.
Okay. Wow. That's great. Yeah.
Well, Vivian, I have another scenario question.
Sure.
Then. As I mentioned earlier, I'm offering food security in South LA, in LA County, actually. But I am rolling out an agricultural education program with that. And I am the California chairwoman of a national organization called the National Women in Agriculture Association. We're a nonprofit founded in 2008, and we have 2,500 female farmers nationwide. So I run our California chapter, and I really want to educate our underserved communities about growing our own healthy foods. So would there be an opportunity to come into LAUSD and work with my my farm women and educate the students?
So on education, yes. If they wanted to do farming or some gardens, then that's a whole different topic that we need to get it cleared. Like the soil has to be tested. It has to be, planters, not in the ground. I mean, there's just a whole bunch of other things. But if you want to email me like your idea of what it is that you are hoping to do, then I can get back to you with, is it possible? Is it not? And what area you want to service.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you.
I have a question. Just so that they know, I believe that a lot of these services they may be able to do with parents, that some services they may be able to do with parents, like teaching the food part. Would they be able to do that with parents?
Yeah. If it's just the education part again, but not if it's like the planting and all that, then that would be different. So it's just easier if you just, email me like what you want to do, your questions. If you want to do like parent presentations, then that is up to the principal, whether to allow you to do that or not. Sometimes the principals reach out to the organization facilitators because they want guidance on whether it's something that should be accepted or not. I know someone put on here in terms of kids on video. So right now we're not allowing anyone to be videotaped or pictures taken or anything through Zooms or through, that's part of the MOU that we say no student can be videotaped or photographed during this virtual time. If you were live in person, then as long as we had the photo release, ours and yours and consents, then that's a little bit different. But doing virtual, we're not allowing that at all.
So if you're doing a virtual show, then the kids can't be shown. Is that just their faces?
So
or?
let's say if you were
they can
doing tutoring, so would it just be all audio and maybe even screen sharing?
You could see their faces. You just can't record the session. You can't record the Zoom.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So Vivian, we do one-on-one tutoring, so it would be okay to have the child's face. You just cannot record the session. Is that correct?
Correct. But if you actually have an MOU to do tutoring, like for a school, and you're doing one-on-one tutoring, then someone from the staff
is that right?
Be in on the session. But if you're doing it on the side,
that was the other thing I heard. Now, wouldn't that? No. Who would cover that cost? The cost of that staff, that school staff person being there.
The school would have to, which is why most of the services we say must be done by 4:30.
Right.
Like even tutoring, we're saying on our MOUs, we're putting that all services must be, by 4:30, because a lot of our staff, especially teachers, are off at 2:15, 2:30. There's some people that are 8-hour employees, like psychiatric social workers, pupil attendance counselors, the administrators at the school. So if they're willing to stay on till 4:30, then that would be different, right? Or if a principal knows that he has two students who really need tutoring and they can't do it until 6 p.m. If he's willing to stay on, then that's something that can be negotiated as well. But a lot of times principals are very hesitant to include other people to be the ones on the Zoom because they would have to pay for them to stay after hours.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One more question. So if you're under MOU and you go into a school and you have an assistant with you or a staff member, they would have to be covered as well under the under all the rules? Yes.
Anyone who you bring from your agency would have to be fingerprinted, TB tested. Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you. What about if you had a dog? Would the dog have to be?
Well, we actually do not we don't really allow pets. I know people have actually asked for support animals, and it's just the risk of what if they bite someone? They would sue us, right? The parents, they wouldn't sue you, they'd sue us. So we really are not, we haven't done any that have animals with them.
Oh, okay. All right. So yeah, I mean,
I'm assuming virtual would be okay, right?
Yeah, that would be different.
Can he show his dog online?
I'm sure he can. I think it's just like the physical that, they can't bite anyone virtual.
That's funny. Yeah, you're right. Okay, boy. You can't go. Okay.
All right. So I want to thank everyone so much for coming to this meeting. Again, thank you so much, Ms. De La Rosa. Great questions, everyone. And again, we are going to do this again next month. And I hope to see you all there and to tell anybody that you know who may benefit from it to join us as well. So
thank you, Angela.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right.
Yeah.
Have a good
Thank
everybody have a good day.
you, Angela and Vivian.
Thank you.